Angela is not a big fan in any way of bikes being inside. She worked away last night. She's not here. So what she won't know until she sees this video won't hurt her until she sees this video, I guess. July 1st, my irresponsibility caught up to me. Not to say it was surprising, obviously I knew it was coming, but I did let the motor vehicle inspection on my car run out, and I really didn't think anything of it because I thought it would pass no problem. And when I went to go get it done the other day, it needed a new caliper. Not a problem, except for the fact that the little keyway for the locking wheel nut, nowhere to be found. But ultimately, that has left me carless, living without a valid car to drive on government roads for the last 30 days. Now this is hardly actually an issue. There's a reason why I let it run out. It's because I'm never driving the thing. I prefer to ride my bike to work anyway, and days where my legs are too tired, I've just been taking the motorbike. So if I'm honest, things haven't really changed all that much for the entire summer. It's just now I can't use it as a crutch for days that it's raining, or when I'm running kind of late like I am today. I'd love to discuss this more this morning, but I'd really prefer not do it on this road at this hour, because all these death machines would prefer see me as roadkill than as a human being on a bicycle. Hence riding on the sidewalk, where I'm not supposed to be. Speaking of said death machines, if you've ever contemplated commuting by using the road to get somewhere by bike, or if you already commute, or if you've talked to someone about commuting, or if you've driven by someone on a bike, there's a good chance that you've heard about the complaints about how much it can absolutely suck to be stuck on the side of the road like this with a bunch of cars whizzing by. Unfortunately, it's just one of those sad realities that there's cars on the road, and yeah, sometimes they're gonna get kind of close, whether it's on purpose or not. I find over time you just become a little bit numb to it, and you just get used to the fact that there's gonna be cars going by way too fast and way too close. Impatience is probably a big part of it, and quite possibly along with some very unwarranted privilege, you know, amongst some motorists on the highway. Perhaps you're on the side of the people who absolutely despise the fact that someone would be on a pedal-powered machine on the same road as an internal combustion engine motor car. Based on my experience, that if you are one of these people who passes purposely close and loves to teach a lesson to cyclists on the road, you probably drive a half-ton or bigger truck. As a matter of fact, I think it's almost universally accepted that you pretty much are going to be the driver of a big, fancy, expensive truck passing too close. Another interesting thing I've noticed in my commuting life of the last like 7 years of going back and forth to work and school, you can pretty well break down the truck of choice down to 3 major categories. In order of worst offenders: Dodge, GMC, Chevy, Ford. If you see any Dodge rolling up behind you, if you've got a mirror or you look behind you, you can pretty well guarantee that you're in their way and that you're gonna upset them. In one way or another, they're gonna get you for it. They're gonna make you pay for being on that side of the road. And this pertains to all Dodges, half-ton and up. They're going to be mad at you, you're in their way. Their sense of entitlement and their needs are far greater than yours. And if it has a Cummins in it, just you know, you may as well just lay on the road for them and let them run you over. They're just a Chevrolet or a GMC. They're kind of the oddball, but they still do stay in second because the mentality can kind of be the same. Though from time to time, a Chevy will pass you with some sort of respect and honor that little bit of space that maybe you deserve to not be dead after they go by. Now, if you still do get kind of buzzed by a fair bit of Chevys and GMCs, they still will do their best to try and scare you off of the road. It's their duty. They have to do it. It's just the truck logic. Now, Fords are kind of interesting because there's actually a curve to how poorly they will treat you. Because the lower end F-150 drivers, they actually seem to have a little bit of respect. And I can't help but feel like it's because their trucks maybe aren't expensive enough. But as the trucks go up in their lineup, if you get to King Ranch, see something with a Platinum on it, you know, it's over. You're basically peanuts to them. You can almost put them on the level of like some of the nicer Chevys or, you know, every Dodge ever. And then progressively, when you get into the F-250s and F-350 or larger from there, you are in the way. I've got this big truck and I can't believe that someone could possibly be riding not as fast as a car could go on the side of the road. Do you have any idea where I have to be? I'm a contractor. Come on. Though one very interesting anomaly in the half-ton world of purposely passing cyclists like an asshole is that you'll never experience it from a Tacoma driver. And the reason for that is very simple. All the mountain bikers bought all of the Tacomas in the world, so there's a mutual respect there. From time to time, you'll get buzzed by smaller cars. Those are outliers. It happens. Sometimes it's not always on purpose, but they probably own a truck or have owned a truck or want to own a truck. And that's why they passed you that way. My theory behind this is fairly sound and simple enough that I think it'd be kind of hard to argue it. No doubt trucks are expensive. The payments every month are really expensive. Putting fuel in them is just astronomical. I don't know how anybody affords it. And then, you know, the insurance on top of that, if you have a kind of crappy driving record from trying to kill cyclists, then yeah, you're probably paying more for that. So, you've got a piece of equipment that's very expensive. Chance that the Dodge Ram, F-150, F-250, and Sierra and Silverado drivers have a much higher perceived value for their time than what they expect from a cyclist. See, it's easy for them to look at a bicycle and say, well, that's just a cheap toy to get around. That poor person can't afford a truck. They're not important enough. To teach that person a lesson about how much more valuable the truck driver's time is, well, they get as close as they can and see if they can't scare you. See if they can't get so close that maybe they even touch you, but don't take you down. That'll teach you a lesson. That'll keep you from ever coming on these roads again and holding up my wildly valuable time. Look at my truck. It's so much better than you are. Now, the simplest on-paper solution, of course, is just to segregate yourself away from traffic completely on trails like this that we've been on for the last like 10 minutes. But the problem with that is, while trail systems like this are fantastic and they are great, and I do appreciate that they exist, they're developed almost exclusively for recreational use. There's not really a whole lot of thought that goes into the fact that maybe you're trying to use this to get to somewhere sort of downtown-y. It gets you sort of close, like to the point that it actually teases you that it's going to be useful. But if you were nervous and you safely wanted to get somewhere completely away from traffic and go for like a coffee or lunch, it's not going to happen on the trails like this. And I think that the expectation to have someone who wants to use a bike to get somewhere to take a route like this would be pretty similar to telling people driving not to take the freeway or a highway for the most direct route somewhere and keep using old 2-lane highways. It's fun sometimes. It's fun to take the long way, the scenic route back to your house or to work or wherever you're going, but sometimes you just want to get somewhere and not be almost murdered while you're doing it. Hey, if I made 5-panel hats with the Circle Spin Dat logo embroidered on it, would anyone be interested in it? Or sticker packs? Or like, if you wanted to support the channel and I put somewhere on a web store to do that, would you? I kind of have no interest in doing the Patreon thing, but I am working on a web store that'll have like some other stuff that I want to get made and sell for merch. Or maybe even just like a, you know, support here button. Anyway, let me know. Because those 5 panels, I want one, and I have to get a bunch more made if I just want one.